So now how this work? Okay, so why we need a NAT? So if you want to isolate this from the internet, why we create a NAT gateway? No one asked that question. I was waiting someone to ask it. So now our whole purpose is stop giving the data to this one, right? So this is a private one, this is a public one, this is routed to the internet gateway. So now this don't have a routing rule to the internet gateway, so this is private. So we put the NAT gateway to allow it. So why we allow through the NAT gateway without allowing directly to the internet gateway? What is the difference? No, what we can do is when you use the NAT gateway, right, that's why I put the rule. So you allow to go to internet but not coming from the internet. Okay. So why the NAT gateway does is, what you do is you are saying 0.0.0.0/0 like we did here. Instead of internet gateway, we are asking to go to the NAT gateway. Okay. So that means you can go out. Why? Patch download, OS updates, those type of things, you can go out. But outside you cannot come in. Why? Because there is no internet gateway attached. Right. So this one can communicate to this one. Like let's say this application API gateway is here, right? The application server is here. So you can talk. Why? Because it's a local routing. That's allowed. But NAT gateway use especially to enable the outbound traffic. So these are VPC bounded resources. So now there are some things like API gateway which is not directly connected to the VPC. Okay, the API gateway stay outside, and then there are some multiple ways you can go ALBs, right, and NLBs, network load balancer, application load balancer. Okay, right. So when you come next day, everyone should remember in the sense should be able to tell on top of your head OSI model, right? Each layers from physical to application, right? The layers, what the layer 2, what the layer 3, what the layer 4, what the layer 5, and so and so. Okay, this connect to every bit and pieces we are going to discuss, right? Because when we say ALB and NLB, I cannot explain this if you don't know the OSI model. Okay, what each layer, so you should be remember layer 1, 2, 3, 4, right? The next question usually I ask, okay, what's the layer 4? What's the layer 6? Something like that. I am not asking you to go in order. Okay, because when we practically work, we say this is a L3 network. Okay, so now you have one physical data link, and you cannot do it. Okay, sometimes we are saying, okay, put IP based filtering. So right, we talk to network team and we say, okay, can we get, right? Sometimes you sometimes you have a L3 firewall or something, and we are asking, can you give me the URL or not the URL headers? It's not practical. You cannot do it because layer 3, the headers doesn't visible to the layer 3, right? So you won't ask a stupid question. So if you exactly know what each layer does, right? So I'm not going to spend the time to teach OSI model. That's a very primary thing, but you need to know that because it's connecting to every single thing we are going to discuss. Okay, any questions? Communicate. No. Subnets can connect to talk to each other without this one. Why? Because VPC has a VPC routing rule. So now, if this subnet want internet, what we say 0.0.0.0 is go to internet gateway. Okay. So I wrote this to at the very beginning to teach before we know this VPC routing table, right? So forget about this. It is there, but forget about this. So now we put this to set the internet. So now I tell 0.0.0.0 originating from here can go to internet. Just say this is an apartment complex, you are in this building and you are in this building, right? So every building at the exit door there is a security officer, right? So now you are saying, hey, I want to go to Colombo. He says, sorry, I don't know how to send to Colombo. Why? Because there is no road mapping established. But if you are coming from public subnet, it says okay, go to that gate, from that gate you can go outside, right. But if you are coming from this building, which is a private subnet, you are stuck there, right. So what the NAT gateway does is, since you do not have access to the outside your community complex, there is a special gateway, right, a special gate is there, you can only go out from that gate, cannot come in, okay. So that you understand that one. So let us say this is a build housing complex, there is a main gate, from here you have access to that, so you can go, but from this building you do not have access to this one. Just assume there is a big wall or something, but there is a door here connected, or you can, this is shuttle, there is a shuttle, you can go out, but no one come this direction, shuttle does not come in this direction, shuttle does not carry the passenger from here to here, only here to outside, okay. So your confusion is because of I do not like this, right. So this examples kind of why I do not like this, because this has a public internet, so you can go, that does not mean it is routing through this one, the drawing. So this is the line I think made you confused.
VPC is storing the routing table of the subnet folder.
Which IP address?
So to navigate to net.
No. When you, so now the NAT is a gateway, internet gateway is a gateway, both are gateways. So every subnet we need to tell where the 000 traffic goes, otherwise it gets stuck.
For each and every subnet there is a
Routing table. It does not mean every subnet should have a separate routing table. You can have one routing table and attach. Okay. What the routing table is, it's like a map. It says 000 need to go to internet gateway, but this subnet routing table says 0000 should go to NAT gateway, not the internet gateway. Okay, that is in the routing table. No, VPC has a default routing table, but you can create any number of other routing tables and attach to different subnets. Each subnets. You can create any number of routing. By default, if you not create one, when the subnet create, there is a routing table attached to that default routing table. VPC. Okay, so now when you today what you need to do is log into your AWS account, create a VPC, right? So don't use the default VPC, create a VPC itself and give your own CIDR block, right? Usually give from the 10 range, right? And then create a EC2 instance, right? So when you create the EC2 instance, it's asking key pair to generate. So generate the key pair and download it, and then start the VPC. So now you need to create internet gateway, right? So add the routing table to the internet gateway, and then you can do it, right? I think, I don't remember exactly, that there is a YouTube channel called Krish Dinesh. I think there is a video explaining this setup. There is, right? Okay, I don't remember. I remember like I created it. Okay, so you can follow that or you can follow a different one, but somehow you need to set it up. What you need to demonstrate to me, right, is you can connect to your machine from your local, because now next stage we are going to create an API and deploy on your host and connect it through the internet, and so we are going to step by step parallelly to others. We are going to set it up, and then first we are going to set up a Nginx type of API gateway, then we are going to leverage the AWS API gateway, and then we are going to Dockerize it and run as a Docker, and then we are going to load balance through the ELB or ALB, and then we are going to finally we are going to create a Kubernetes cluster and deploy all your services into the Kubernetes cluster. Okay, so that's go parallelly, probably one day per week kind of a thing, but you need to ready with this one and the OS size.